Hi, my name is Miriam. I'm a front-end developer and a design and user experience lover. That means my heart belongs to both worlds. I'm a content creator in the tech community in my free time, sharing resources and writing posts in my blog. So you can find me on Twitter, GitHub, and LinkedIn. Today, I'm going to talk about design systems. The purpose of this talk is to help you to visualize the design system concept and to know when to implement it. I know it's a trendy term, and we hear a lot about them, but we tend to confuse parts of the design system as a design system itself. It's because they don't have an easy definition. A few months ago, I was as lost as many people, until I started to investigate the viability of build one in my current company. To do that, I had to start at the base. So let's review some concepts. What exactly is a design system and what it isn't? When should we need them? And what problems do they solve? How do we get started? Finally, we will review some of the most popular design systems and interesting tools and resources. Let's start by answering the most basic question. What is a design system? Well, InVision defines it as a collection of reusable components guided by clear standards that can be assembled together to build any number of applications. This definition is not entirely clear to me. I prefer the vision of Brad Frost, author of Atomic Design. He defines it as the official story of how your organization designs and builds digital products. There are a lot of ingredients involved in telling that story. I think it's easy to abstract the concept as follows. Imagine we have to assemble our new IKEA furniture. So we open the box, put all pieces on the floor, and that's it. Let's assemble a desk. Obviously, without a user's manual, we will not be able to assemble it. Even if we succeed, it won't look like the photo. We will feel identified with Homer and his barbecue. The fact is, to have a components collection, a UI kit, it's like having those IKEA pieces. And the identity, principles, and best practices correspond with the user's manual. This brings us to the next question. What is not a design system? So remember all the things that I have told you. Do you think a Sketch or Figma components library is a design system? No, it's only a part of a design system. Or you could think, okay, we have a style guide with foundations and the brand identity, so we have a design system. No, a style guide is static and may become outdated. You're going to understand it better with this example. Suppose that initially we have a blue primary button, but after the results of some user tests, we decide to change the button color to purple in order to increase the conversion rate. Well, if we have a style guide, it will become outdated because it's only a document that doesn't affect the actual product. That means no matter how many changes we make in the style guide, there will be no changes in the developed components. However, if we have a design system, when we change the color, the product parts where the primary button is used will be updated. In conclusion, a design system is the single source of truth that groups all the elements that will allow the teams to design, realize, and develop a product. It's alive and it will continuously evolve with the product. And the next question that comes to our mind is, when is it necessary to implement a design system? The point is that this decision doesn't apply to the technical team. It's a product level decision because it's not recommended for exploratory stages where the idea is to build an MVP and see how the product works. However, it's perfect when you are planning product and team growth strategies. In other words, if you want to make your product scalable. So, once it's clear that we are at this stage to implement a design system, the next question is, what problems do they solve? Maybe we can feel identified with some of these situations. Like, we need to release the new features and we are short of time. Or we don't have the designs of these screens. We are working slowly. Or many of our designs are outdated. Or even developments never look like the photo, like designs. Or even new people join the team and we don't have a work methodology. All these situations result in wasting time creating specific components for each new feature, ending up with 5 versions of the same button. Sometimes the development team is blocked because they don't have the designs yet, so they continue their work without the design, creating inconsistencies in the product that can impact the user experience and brand image. Also, as the product grows, the cost of making changes in the product grows too, result in large technical debt. At this point, we realize we have to change the way we build the product. This is where the design system can help us solve these problems. Design system leads to consistent experience. That means users understand the UI faster, leading to more conversion and more money. Design system speed up the team's workflow. Rather than reinventing the wheel every time a new request comes through, teams can reuse those pieces we talked about before and assemble them like Lego pieces to build new features faster than even before. Centralizing UI components in a pattern library establishes a shared vocabulary for everyone and creates a more collaborative workflow. With everyone speaking the same language, more time is spent getting work done and less time is spent in meetings. I remember an IKEA talk where they introduced their design system and they mentioned that they use it as onboarding. The point is to have a useful documentation allows us to use our design system as onboarding for new team members. It's a commitment to the future because you need to invest time and resources to establish a work team responsible for building and maintaining the design system. The good thing is, they help us align all the teams, which allows us to save time and money. I want to remark that it is not developed once. This system will follow us throughout the product's evolution, adapting to it and making it more scalable. Now, we know we want to invest in a design system, but we have no idea where to start. Well, we had to follow these steps. First, a research phase. This talk could be a starting point, and you can read more about it with the resources I will share on my web. Second, a component audit. In this stage, we can know in which point is our product. Then comes the design system building phase. And finally, the maintenance phase. I'm going to focus on the audit phase. So we need to create the UI inventory listing and describing all the design patterns currently used in the interface. Then present the findings to everyone and define the common language and naming convention. Establish design principles, building the color palette, define the typographic scale, implementing icons library, and start building the patterns. These elements form the user's guide for building and using our design system. Our goal will be to pass from a waterfall process to a more collaborative workflow, involving all the teams working together throughout the entire process. As this is an introduction, I don't have time to explain how to create this connection between design and development teams, or talk about design tokens or atomic design. However, I've included in the reference some resources to learn more about these topics, including a checklist with the steps to build a design system. Now, I'm going to talk about the parts of a design system. As we have defined in previous section, one of the important parts of design system is the style guide and design patterns. There is a tool called frontendlove that helps us to build this part. I've also included in the references. Another part is everything related to product principles, voice and tone, and the written content. And last but not least, we have the components library. If you want to build an even more scalable design system with framework-agnostic components, you can develop them as web components and document them using tools such as Storybook. Now I'm going to show you some of the most popular design systems. The first design system that I want to show you is Polaris by Shopify. The documentation of this design system is organized in 5 sections. In Foundations, we can find all related to the brand values, accessibility, even designing onboarding. Also, in the content section, we can read about how to write the content, voice and tone, naming, product content, or vocabulary. Next, there is a design section with the colors, typography, icons, even data visualization. There is another section related to components. For example, if we go to the bottom component, we can see how to use it with a code example. And we can modify some properties and see how it looks. And finally, there is a section for other products they have. The next design system that I want to show you is Pajamas by GitLab. I really like the content distribution of this design system because it's easy to find information. There is a brand section related to values of the brand, logo, even resources. In the product section, We can see the foundations with the color, icons, typography, components, including this interesting table with the status of each component. We can check if the Figma design or the documentation is ready. I think it's really cool to have this table in our design system. So if we check the bottom, for example, we can see one section for the design and another section with the how to use. Also, there is a content section, even a usability section. Additionally, there is a research section, and we have the accessibility section. That's great because it means they are committed to this topic. Well, now I'm going to show you Carbon Design System. The content is organized depending on the work you are going to do. If you want to read about designing, you have to go to the designing section. And you can find design kits, resources, even tutorials. Or if you want to read about developing, you have to go to developing section. And you can read about the different frameworks which they work with, its GitHub repos, different storybooks, and some tools. Also, there is a guideline sections with accessibility, the content, color, icons, component sections, patterns, and a link to the Carbon GitHub repo. Atlassian also has a popular design system too. And the sections are similar to Polaris. There is a brand section with the mission, values, personality, foundations with accessibility, the colors, logos, typography, content section with inclusive language or vocabulary, voice and tone principles, component sections with all the components, patterns, and some resources. Well, the Adobe design system is similar too. However, there is interesting section like design tokens, inclusive design, and also in its component, for example, the bottom, we can download the UI kit or view the web component, for example. Okay. Here you can see other companies with a design system or companies that are building one, like TransferWise, Storyblock, Citybox. For example, I had the opportunity to talk to Lockyer team about how their design system helps them. And they told me they can react quickly to last-minute changes. The design team works faster and presents their screens very quickly. Even they had a rebranding and everything went faster with their design system. Additionally, I'm collaborating in a new project. The idea is to build a design system that brings together the best practices we have seen in popular design systems to provide an example for anyone who wants to create one. Finally, if you want to learn more about design system, I like to share these resources and references like design system checklist with all the steps you have to do, like all related to the brand, the vision, voice and tone, greeting guidelines, or design tokens, components with the minimum components you must to have, even project management. It's really cool. Or Awesome Design System. It's a cool repo where you can see many design systems and which part has been developed, like if the components are ready, or voice and tone, designer's kit, even source code. Also, you can find all these links on my website. As you can see, design system involve all the teams and actually the entire organization. So I hope this introduction can help you understand the basic design system concepts. However, if you have any question, you can find me on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!